Okay, here we go with Alternative Future of the World, episode 12. Episode 12. Okay, we're going to have a lot of joining alliances here. So we have Uruguay joining that alliance. Which alliance was it? The Western World Alliance, basically. And this is all part of Venezuela. But yeah, we have Guyana. I guess that's Guyana or Northern South America, whatever it's called. That joins the CSTO. So does Venezuela. There's Barbados. Okay. I mean, it was just taken by Venezuela. And then Costa Rica and Nicaragua. Yeah, they're about to have a war. But before then, we have them joining the Western Alliance. Because that's Costa Rica. It's not really Panama, it's Costa Rica. Okay, we have I don't know why Switzerland left. I don't know why Sweden left either. We're just going to say they rejoined. I don't care if they left. We're just going to say they rejoined. They rejoined, so does Czechia, so does Slovenia, so does Switzerland. And that's it. Except don't do that. Okay, we have a few other things. Okay, the buffer zone. You know, a thick buffer zone. It's not really a buffer zone, it's a buffer country. So, like, it's supposed to be neutral. And it, like, completely separates these countries. If you invade the buffer zone, then it's very, that would be very shitty of you. And you might get a nuke dropped on you. So, there's these buffer countries here. Whatever part of Syria there is. Alright, we're going to say that the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, and Bahrain join this alliance, the Arab Alliance. And I think every country has an alliance now. Should have one. Yeah, all these islands, we're just going to say they were taken over by Japan. I mean, there's probably no fighting going on there. Well, some fighting, but like they just annexed them. So they have a huge sphere of influence there. Korea, which is South Korea in this timeline, is doing pretty well. This is mostly mountains up here, so they don't really need a buffer country, honestly. And then this is the I didn't mean to do that. This is the buffer country down here is Thailand. The rest should be just islands and stuff. But Korea, that's a potential issue there. I'm looking all over for places like that. Alright. We have the DRC joining this alliance. And then we have a new alliance forming called... No, it can't be rose. Can't be that either. Let's make it this color. Purple. This is the South African Alliance. or Southern African Alliance. And we're going to have all these countries join it. So they all like each other. Okay. And Comoros is going to get taken over. That will be the first thing happening this video. First actual action happening. They get taken over by Madagascar. And we're going to say that they don't have any problem there. Taking them over. Because it's Comoros. And yes, this is Mayotte here. Comoros took them over a while ago. But this is now going to make Somalia and Eritrea pretty angry. And they're going to have a war with this Eastern Africa. Alright, so we're going to start that war. It starts up in Eritrea. Okay, so they start invading. They start invading up in Eritrea here. They start invading. Eritrea, I mean, we're going to say they push back like a little bit. That is not what I meant to do, man. What if I just select this? Yeah, there we go. So they push back a little bit. Actually, they push back in the middle, like here. Ethiopia, they are slamming through here. But not like that. I gotta be careful along the border. Actually, no, I don't. I can just fill that in. Here, I'll show you what I mean. They go up to here. And then they take all that. Okay, they start taking more. They go up here. They take all that. Now, while all this is happening, Eritrea is mostly focusing down here. And there's a reason that they're focusing down here. And that's because they want to cut off Ethiopia from the sea. And which to say they successfully, well, they don't cut them off entirely, but they get pretty far there. So they get pretty far. Now, Ethiopia doesn't really care, honestly, because they have allies that are next to the ocean, and plus they still have ocean left. But all while this is happening, we have Kenya pushing into Somalia. I mean, they just push in like this, right about to there, but not like that, like that. And then they push up here, like this. Well, this isn't Kenya anymore. This is a huge, massive East African Federation. So they are powerful. And they've existed for a while. So I mean, whatever's left of Somalia is probably not very strong. So it's mostly desert here anyway. Let's see if I can do this correctly. There we go. So they basically just cut all of this off. And there you go. They managed to cut all of this off as well. So they managed to invade up to there. Okay, and then while this is happening, Ethiopia is invading. Sorry for all the barking, if you can hear that. Ethiopia is invading up here. They cut off Eritrea there. They cut off Eritrea here. Not like that, though. Like this. Not like that either. Like this. There we go. So they cut off Eritrea a little bit. Now Eritrea may not be very powerful, but they have powerful allies. This is when Yemen and Saudi troops start arriving. So the Eritrea and the troops managed to push down to here. They want to save their efforts. You'll see why. Because they want to cut off Ethiopia. And Somalia is also funneling all their troops over here to get Ethiopia. And also some Saudi, some Saudi troops are going up here in the north trying to cut off Ethiopia here. Trying to make sure they don't go any further. Like this. Not like that, though. Like this. I'm trying to get that one pixel, dude. Just that one pixel. Okay, what I can do is do that. Whatever. Or that. Yeah. Get the brush. Okay, they start pushing in like this. But mostly they're focused, Somalia's focused on this area. And they come up here and meet up with the other troops. And they just start fighting. Now, there's a lot of troops here in Ethiopia around this region. Because that's where their ocean is, basically. So, but they're in alliance with the East African Federation. So, I mean, they also got a lot of help from them as well. Okay, let me get these borders here. That is wrong. It should be like this. And they cut them off. Now, Ethiopia does not want to surrender here. This is looking real familiar here. This right here is what Ethiopia looked like historically, didn't it? With a little spike up here. Because this is where the Ethiopian Christianity was or whatever. But yeah, they start getting pushed back by these troops. And then that's when the East African Federation troops, mostly South Sudan, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, those troops start coming in. Tanzania and Kenya are focusing more on this. But some of those troops start coming into Ethiopia's front, and they start fighting back as well. Mostly up in the north and near the ocean, or where the former ocean was, where the former coastline was. So they almost make it there, and then they keep going up here, like this, and they managed to break through, actually, all the way to here, and they managed to get all of that, Now that looks bizarre. Just wait. Now, since they didn't break through that well, and there's already troops over here, or troops are coming soon, they get pushed back, basically. They get pushed back. Not that color. They get pushed back out of here, and then get cut off, basically. And then the same thing happens, but with the green. And then they get pushed back a little bit. Okay. And then Ethiopia has a plan, right? They have a plan. They start sending troops over here. Wow, we are way out in the middle of nowhere. Okay. They start sending troops over here. So there's basically desert here, nothing else. And there's some Somali troops down here and over here, and some here, but not over here in this region here. So Ethiopia just starts pushing through. They have almost no problem, no issue. Start pushing through like this and cut Somalia basically in half, like this, but not like that, like this. Okay, and then push through here as well. Okay, let me just you push through, right? And then they start fighting. Well, most of the troops are down here, but there are some troops here. But, you know, they basically have no problem just wiping the floor with them, basically. They just, once they get about to right here, then it stops. Okay, I gotta keep trying. Right about there, right? And then they basically capture all this. Okay? Now, while this is happening, the southern part of Somalia is like, you know, not doing well. As you can see, they're kind of surrounded here. Kind of surrounded. And they've joined with Eritrea. I mean, not really. That's just what the map looks like. But Eritrea and Somalia will make a border right about here if they can. But they might even make a buffer country. Well, they're not really the CSTO or Western Alliance, so this is an Africa-based war. And oh, let's see what kind of alliance. The reason Sudan hasn't tried to attack like this right here is because it's part of the East African Federation, and Sudan is, since they lost Darfur over here, they're very weak compared to the East African Federation. But yeah, okay. So Kenya and Tanzania, they start pushing. They start pushing pretty hard into here, just demolishing these Somali troops. They start pushing through, and then right about here, southern Somalia. Not all of Somalia, but just the southern Somalia surrenders, basically. Okay? Surrenders like that. Let's see where Ethiopia's line was mostly. It was right here. It was mostly right about here. We'll just make that line real quick. Okay, and then, yeah, right about there. Okay, that'll be the borders. But the northern part is not done fighting yet. This is a long video for just Africa. Okay. It's got to conclude. Alright, so Ethiopia starts pushing up in the north, right? Actually, right below the north, they start pushing like this. Like that. And they cut off this part of Eritrea. And they start pushing through like this. And while this is happening, an unexpected thing happens. Sudan starts pushing in like this, taking some of Eritrea like this, and then this northern part of Eritrea surrenders. And it's split evenly, or somewhat evenly, between these two countries here. Okay, here's what it's going to look like. That's not what I meant to do. I meant to do... Was it this color? Yeah, it is. Okay. Gotta be very careful with the borders. Oh yeah, also Ethiopia cuts this part of Eritrea off. They don't get to this island though. Actually, they send some ships out like this and get to this island, and then that's it. That's about it. And then Eritrea surrenders. So, what before they surrendered, they drew up a line between Somalia and them that looked right about like that. So when they surrender, here's what happens. They are drawn a little weird, like right about there. And then all of this is given to Ethiopia. Yes, looks unfair. Does it not? Does it not look unfair? It's because it is. And Somalia didn't surrender, so they just get whatever they had. Good going, Somalia. Let's just say that Somalia had quite a few troops compared to Eritrea. So you can see Ethiopia has some land up there and a land there. And then now these two African alliances here. Actually, this part of Libya we're gonna say splits in two. Not really in two, but here's what's gonna happen. Here's what's gonna happen. This Sahel region, right? This region. Well, actually, yeah, we're just gonna say that this whole region here. I don't know why it was part of the buffer countries. We're just gonna say it joins the Northern Alliance or whatever. You can see Libya is like pretty fractured there. Morocco's got a lot. Algeria has all this for some reason. Senegal just wants to be neutral. Same with Nigeria wants to be neutral. This is northern Nigeria that broke off. They haven't fought over this because they're allies. Same with that. Ghana. Even though they're mostly Christian or whatever, and they're up here's mostly Muslim. It doesn't matter. They're allies. This is so far into the future that it doesn't matter anymore. Well, if it was this far into the future, they wouldn't be having wars, would they? You can see Israel is pretty thick there. But yeah, whatever this is considered, it was considered Eritrea, but now we're going to say it's annexed by Yemen. By Yemen. And by the way, this right here, let me clarify this. This right here was given to Somalia, and this is part of Yemen. Alright, I guess that's it for this video. Just a few countries joining alliances and a very long war in Ethiopia and the East African Federation. You can see it looks pretty cool now. Look at this bizarre shape here. They took a lot of Somalia, so did Ethiopia. But yeah, there's a truce between this alliance and the East African Federation. But this Arabian alliance is now basically at war with, not at war, but they do not like this alliance here. And this is a new alliance. This is the Central African Alliance. That's it for this